Hello, everybody. This is Joshua Hatton with One Nation Under Whiskey podcast. I am joined today by Jessica Rabbit Guillermo Lomas, calling in from her beautiful grand pianoed chateau of sorts.
Do you think this is a chateau? I think this is more like my beach house in Malibu.
It's a beach house in Malibu, or potentially something in what do they call that? What's that place on Long Island? It's like the end of Long Island. What do they call that? Where all the rich people go?
I don't know. I was impressed that I got a beach house in Malibu. Or somewhere in New Hampshire. Is that not where all the posh
Hampshires. I think this was called the Hampshires or something.
So you mean that's where all the posh people...
Yeah.
In other American podcasts that I listen to, that's what they talk about.
Yeah. Yeah, it does look very posh. You look like you're living your best posh life right now, Jess.
Yeah. I remain, as all the other episodes I have been in this lovely house, perched on the table. Which we could share what this looks like with the listeners, but I feel like at this point you're just going to have to come to the YouTube episodes where you can see me sat on the table with my piano on my shoulder.
And we say this during an episode where there is not a video backup. So all we have are descriptions of what your posh room would look like. And people's imaginations. Yeah.
There is a distinct lack of in this beautiful room. So we have done other recordings where I've had my lovely house in the background. Mm-hmm. There's a distinct lack of whiskey in this living room. That's how you know it's not really my full-time house.
This is true. Yeah.
This is I take people who I don't drink with house. So they don't feel intimidated.
Yeah.
I had to get some maintenance done in my real flat in Glasgow. And the guy, as he entered, said, "Oh my God, you have a lot of drink in here." And I had to say, "It's my job." He kind of raised an eyebrow, like as if I was making it up.
Yeah.
So no, really. If I had a drinking problem, I wouldn't have this much drink in the house because I would have drunk it all.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
That's what I always tell people. You know, I would have, if I really had a consumption-based issue, I would crack on with it wholeheartedly. The fact that I haven't is a testament to the responsible drinking that I take part in. Or something like that. Anyway. Quick, before it gets into a big hole. It's nice to see you. I like these episodes where it's just me and you. I feel like we formed like we're in a secret gang.
Yeah.
We've just not told Jason to come along.
Yeah,
it's nice having Jason here too. I just want to point that out before anybody gets the wrong idea. But sometimes I feel like you and I have much crazier conversations without Jason. He comes in with his poetry and his philosophy and intelligent thoughts about things.
Yes. Yeah.
I feel like you and I can discuss things like me entering this podcast to Chesney Hawkes. I am the one and only. To the listeners, if you're outside of the UK, that's a one-hit wonder reference from the early 90s. I thought it was the 80s, the early 90s. Mm-hmm. If you've not heard Chesney Hawkes, I am the one and only. This is your opportunity to go in and listen to it and get a little sneak preview into my head. If you want that.
And to any Americans who do not know who Chesney Hawk is, you know, I wonder if I may be the one American who doesn't know. I wonder if his hit, The One and Only, was something that's much bigger than I'm aware of. Because in the 90s, I was just all about the punk rock and the heavy metal and hardcore. Like, I wasn't paying attention to something that Chesney Hawkes... Is it Hawks or Hawk?
Yeah, Hawks as a plural. Mm-hmm. He's got this lovely kind of big blonde bouffant. There's cheekbones and leather jackets. And if you don't know, that can be one piece of your homework for this episode.
Okay.
I always think there are two people to me who are kind of one-hit wonders. The second one is another one. Oh no, what if you also don't know this reference too? Do you understand the meme of Rick rolling?
Oh, come on. Of course, Rick Rolling.
So-
Never gonna let you home. Never gonna.
Right.
Yeah.
So you know who Rick Astley is, but not Chesney Hawkes. Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, yes.
Okay. Given that I never have any references for anything, it's good to know how to place the 6 references I do have, how that intertwines with what you and Jason use as cultural references.
Was Chesney Hawkes as big as Rick Astley?
Yeah, I feel like they were. I mean, it was huge.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Whereas I feel like
Yeah.
Rick Astley has gone on and done other things. I mean, he's definitely
Yes.
still best known, I think, for Never Gonna Give You Up, hence the meme.
Yeah.
But I don't know what else Chesney Hawkes has done.
Yeah. He's just said two last names.
Made loads of money and lived happily ever after.
Yeah. Happily ever after.
I'm happy to be corrected by our listeners who are up-to-date references for Chesney Hawkes.
I'll tell you, there is nothing, Jess, like being corrected by your listeners. And I know about being corrected by listeners.
I had a little chuckle on Facebook last night. Somebody had posted up the GlenDronach in the US and had said, look at this. This is the first GlenDronach bottled by somebody not other than the distillery since 1860.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I corrected
It's
them.
funny how things stick.
I had to correct them. It's the first since 1492, since Columbus sailed the ocean blue. So,
yeah, any other corrections, dear listeners, feel free to come in and add it to Joshua's homework list.
yeah, exactly.
Now, I do know you have a second piece of homework
Yeah.
for today's episode, after today's episode, centering around the people in the episode. Because following our previous podcast recording, where we discussed what was coming up in season 10, I got some very enthusiastic messages from the people who are today's interview guests.
Okay.
Guest subject.
Guests, plural. Yeah.
So I imagine after you have watched all 5 seasons of Shorzy,
Yes.
you can go and then check out Chesney Hawkes.
Ah, yes.
Because
So-
Travis is very excited that I knew what Shorzy was, but that I'm also a fan. And then disappointed in you that you did not. So
All right. So let's back up. Let's pause. Put a pin in that for our listeners. So we're talking about today's guests. We've got Travis Watt and Dave Robert of PWS Imports. Where Chesney Hawkes has 2 last names, Dave Robert has 2 first names. You put them
Nice.
together, you could have Dave
A 4-piece
Chesney
band.
and Robert Hawkes. I think we've come up with the perfect combination right there.
they definitely could be a pop duo on American Idol.
But yeah, so we have them as our guests, and we'll be talking with them in a second. But yes, you're right. I do have homework. So while I've watched the entire Letterkenny series, which I think is one of the best
So good.
shows coming out of Canada, just the best shows, period. I think it's hilarious. You've given me shit now. And Travis has given me shit previously about, not giving me shit, but pointing out the fact that Shorzy may likely be a better show than Letterkenny.
So I did discuss this with Travis. So I'm not originally a hockey fan. So I appreciated all the funny characters and the different sections of the of Letterkenny and the people and their problems. Or whatever the intro to that show is. There are 5,000 people and these are their problems.
These are the problems, yeah.
Shorzy, if you are a hockey fan, is extremely funny. But I have to say, as my pitch to it, even if you're not a hockey fan or you're just getting into hockey, it is also hilarious. But I'm going to pre-warn you that because I had watched a lot of Shorzy before I really had started taking hockey a bit more seriously, Shorzy is so accurate, it has kind of ruined a bit of real hockey for me. So the main character, this guy, one of the things he ends up doing is refereeing. And he's got a cheeky character, as you're about to discover. And there are certain things that he does. So like in a hockey match, I cannot wait for Chris to hear this and correct me on all the things I'm about to say. In a hockey match, when they make an announcement, so the referees will come to the center of the ice and they'll do like a hand signal for like slashing or stick holding or whatever the offense is. They do an announcement and then they do this kind of very funny, like, bunny hop skate away from the camera to start the game again.
Okay.
And this obviously happens in real life too, but there's something about the way they have portrayed this in Shorzy that is so funny that I cannot take real referees' decision-making process seriously, because all I see is Shorzy doing the hop away, and this character has a lot of very funny one-liners of abuse. A lot of Shorzy is based around this concept of chirping.
Yes.
And so they will chirp something stupid and then like the game starts again. So that's my sales pitch with Shorzy. It's very funny. And a lot of the characters are actual hockey players. I've played in lots of different leagues all around the world and are outright for their own actual skating abilities, and then forming this amazing TV show.
Okay.
And I have to say, even though he's not here, so he knows I'm not looking at him put me up to this, I got into this because Jason told me to watch it.
Really?
He told me to watch Letterkenny.
Oh,
yeah. He told me to
Yep.
watch Letterkenny, and then obviously living with a hockey enthusiast meant that we had to then get into Shorzy. So there you go. Without the great White Walker himself, I would not have got into this.
And I turned Jason on to Letterkenny.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, I did not.
indeed.
He did not credit you that.
See the level of respect I get here? Yeah.
Once you've completed your Shorzy assignment, we can discuss things further.
Well,
I'm just glad to have got some street creds with some Canadians.
yeah. I tell you, speaking of street cred, here I am in Canada, in Ottawa, with Travis, with Dave, and with Elliot. And we're there, we're watching hockey, right? And I think I may have, fallen in love with not just the Canadian people as a whole, but hockey as a game. And I think I may have become an honorary Canadian while falling in love with hockey.
Do we do sports now, Joshua? Have we got
I
new
think we do sports
personalities?
now.
I think you
Yeah.
and I do sports now. God,
I think we do sports now.
I think we're
Yeah.
changed people. Well, this is exciting because I always have an unofficial Canadian embassy on Isla
Yeah.
because it's always full of ice wine, and my Canadian neighbour comes around and we talk shit about hockey.
Yeah, we so this was before our Whiskey Wonderland event. I had a master class. So Whiskey Wonderland, just so you're aware, is sort of like it's a full weekend event. There's a Thursday dinner, and then a Friday day of master classes, and then a Saturday like big festival, right? So we had our Friday night dinner, which I presented our 21-year-old Bowmore at. And I was one of 10 presenters, and I was the 10th presenter. I closed out the night. And that was good fun.
I'm glad they saved the best till last. And tell me, how did people enjoy our delicious Bowmore?
I'll tell you what, people enjoyed our Bowmore, but we followed a 32-year-old Kalila that was poured by Igor of Heads and Tails. It was an importer in Canada, and it was a whiskey sponge Kalila, and it was a remarkable bottling. We also followed a Springbank 21, a Tamdhu 21. Like, we were following some pretty damn good whiskeys, but rumor has it that our Bowmore 21 was, if not the best, neck and neck with that Kalila 32-year-old. So
I'll take that as a win. I'm saying we won that.
yeah,
Because you can't come to a party with a 32 Kalila and really do anything other than top placement. So
yes, right,
if we discount that,
right,
I think it sounds like we definitely won.
exactly. So speaking of winning, so then the next day, was it before the master? Yeah, it was before the master class. We went over to a restaurant to watch the Canada versus Finland in the Olympics.
That was a great match.
And proceeded to drink all the Guinness while we watched that game. And Canada won 3-2, like in the last 5 seconds or something of that game. It was so exciting. That's where I became not just a hockey fan, but a hockey expert.
Excellent. It was a brutal match, to be fair.
It was a brutal match. but so exciting, just so incredibly exciting to watch. And I had Dave to my left, as every play was happening, he was like, okay, this is happening because of X, Y, and Z. And now because he went over the blue line, this is happening because of, this. And he's going into the penalty box for 2 minutes. But if such and such happened, he's going to go in there for 4 minutes. And, just all of these rules. And so that was fun. So anyway, Canada won. Everybody's happy days. Because Canada won, that made my master class, which was directly after that, I think the best master class that could ever be, because all the Canadians were just, over
Everyone's
the moon.
psyched for it, yeah.
Right? So we had this hour-long master class, tasted through 6 different whiskeys, and then that was the day, and we ended up having dinner later that night with someone that actually, Jess, Gurpreet from Anoka Distillery. He said he tasted with you, judged whiskeys with you.
I met him last month in London. He brought me some samples. I had met him the previous year, and he had some goodies hiding in his pockets to try. Yeah, well, that's fun. Yeah, he's a very nice guy, and I'm very interested in what they're doing. Not that I'm at all angling for a trip around Canada looking at distilleries, but I 100% am.
Yeah.
Just slowly, one at a time. Trying to sneak some hockey in between. We can work out some sort of travel budget-based schedule after this record, I'm sure. Now that we're avid hockey fans, it's only fair to encourage development on that whilst we preach the good word about whiskey.
Right, we can figure it out. But his whiskeys are phenomenal, and he's just a lovely, lovely person. So we had dinner with him and then hung out with him and had many, many hotel drams that night, and then many more hotel drams that night. And then the next day we had the Whiskey Wonderland Festival, which lasted, it was 2 VIP hours and then 3 hours for the regular, sort of general admission rank and file people that came in. And I don't know what to say about the Canadian whiskey public, but they're lovely. Just lovely, passionate group of whiskey fanatics wanting to know everything. And the rumor has it our table was the most popular table in the room, which is always lovely to hear. So that lasted. It was 5 hours, but it felt like 7 to 9 hours. You know how those go.
I do. Only too well.
Yeah. And so then we did that, and then we got back to the hotel, and me, Travis, and Dave ordered some pizzas. We ate said pizzas, and then we sat down and we put microphones on. And we had the conversation that our listeners are about to hear, which was a fuck ton of fun. It felt like the old conversations, like post-Jubilee conversations that we would have where our voices are dead and we are dead, but are just so thankful for things to be over and behind us,
I'm impressed, because usually when I get to the end of a festival, especially if it's a long run, I'm maybe not the world's happiest chappy, and I just need a little drink and a sit down. Maybe an iron brew if it's really bad, or a pint. Really, I'm very easy to please. A pint and a sit down. Give me about an hour, and then I'm ready to human once more.
Well, we had some Sapporo Stout and some Ichiro's Malt to soothe us as we had a little whiskey conversation.
That sounds like a perfect libation for the end of a long day.
Indeed.
Roll the tape!
Travis Watt, Bearded Dave, which I imagine is your Christian name.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's on your birth certificate. Mm-hmm. Dave Robert.
Robert, yeah.
From PWS. Guys, I'm really excited to have you on the One Nation Under Whiskey podcast.
Yes.
Season 10, by the way, guys.
15 years of Single Cast Nation, 10 years of the podcast.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
it's pretty amazing.
When did Jess join the podcast?
Oh, when did Jess join the podcast? That's really interesting. Oh, man. I could try to take a guess, but I don't know. We started the podcast in 2017, right? So we're starting our 10th season, right? So
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes
Right.
sense.
And Jess joined us in September of 2019. And so my guess is she probably, well, I think we interviewed her as a person, you know, as someone joining the Single Cast Nation team in 2019. But as someone joining us as a regular, you know, padcaster, I don't know off the top of my head. And I hope I'm not upsetting her by not knowing.
Strong understanding of histories might be important, Josh.
Yeah, I know it might be important.
She's a good addition. She's like she brings a nice balance to whatever you and Jason are doing.
Whatever we're doing.
She kind of just really, she's like the rug in The Big Lebowski. She brings the room together.
She brings the room together.
Yeah.
She ties it together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, she's good. She brings a different perspective, without a doubt. And I think she asks questions that I think we wouldn't think to ask, which I think is very cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Different perspectives. When you've been doing something for a while too, and then someone else comes in and it's just kind of, sometimes you just need like a little, you know, like just a little shake up.
Yeah.
And then in 10 years, you won't even remember what it was like not doing it with
Yeah.
her, right?
Yeah.
But you all do the episodes like this, where like Jess will go on some adventure. She's always on an adventure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And she'll interview someone on her own, wherever she is. And you'll do the same. And then that's kind of neat how you guys break it up and just tackle things on your own.
Well, we're kind of forced to, right?
Yeah,
Because she's in
yeah.
Glasgow, Jason's in Virginia, I'm in Connecticut, and like he'll be traveling to like California, and
You get winter in Quebec. And you're not
yeah, and I
Ottawa.
winter in Quebec.
Northern North America.
I go to all the difficult places,
Yeah.
you know, and she gets to hang out in Scotland, and
Yeah.
you know,
And he gets,
So,
you know, just
yeah,
along the coastline for Jason. He just nice warm weather,
right,
sunshine.
man.
What's going on here, guys?
I almost said they give me the shit places, but I disagree.
Oh, we had
I've
so
been
much-
having a great time with you
This
guys.
has been lovely. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's been a great time.
Yeah. So for the listeners, I'm here in Ottawa with Travis and Dave from PWS, who are our Canadian importers and have been our Canadian importers for now 6 years. That is Dave's telephone. He has not put that on silent. That is guest
Yep.
Tax. That's a
etiquette
tax.
101.
That's me 100%. I'm going to throw my phone away.
So we've been up here, and so we've been with you guys for 6 years, and I want to talk a little bit about PWS and sort of your beginnings. Well, I mean, right, let's talk about the beginnings, but when I think about PWS, I kind of think about it, I kind of compare it to like the Single Cast Nation beginnings.
Oh, that's fun. Oh, that's great.
Because, like, Jason and I were bloggers who were like, oh, wow, maybe we could make this a thing. And then we became independent bottlers. And you guys started from the world of whiskey clubs.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, my God, maybe we could make this a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but, like, I don't want to oversimplify this. But,
Yeah.
like, I mean, let's talk about your beginnings and how this all happened.
So it was never, I don't think it was ever, this could be a thing for us in a sense that originally when you say it started as clubs, we were a club that started because our wives were in a book club, and they get to go out once a month for their book club.
We're jealous.
And we were all in this phase of our life where we were having children, and it was harder to get out of the house to go and do things. And so we're like, we need a book club, but no one wanted to read books.
I like books. I enjoy books, but many of my friends don't. So we decided
lots of people in the book read books. We just didn't want to get together and talk about the books we're reading. It was not So at the time, we weren't Scotch enthusiasts. We weren't bloggers. We were literally just a bunch of friends, and so we started this. We're like, we should start a Scotch club.
Yeah.
And it started out just innocently enough, like most Scotch clubs do. And I tell people this all the time, like, just start your own club. It's the easiest. Starting a Scotch club is the easiest thing you can do. You get together with 4 friends, buy 1 bottle, and just sit around and talk about what you're drinking and talk about life and whatever else.
Yeah.
So
and with Travis, like Travis, I believe there was a series of these guys that had a lot more appreciation for whiskey and Scotch specifically, but there's also a lot of us that didn't. Like I had no knowledge, no interaction, no appreciation. I was just excited by the fact that my friends were hanging out.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of opportunity to join and do things. We started in our buddy's living room and then his kitchen, and there was like maybe 10 of us.
Wow.
And we started interacting with these whiskeys, and very quickly I started to realize what was going on. I thought this was awesome. And it kind of slowly, organically got bigger.
Wow.
Bigger.
Okay.
We started realizing we could save money from this, sell the heels back and start building a little bit of a pool of money. And then, something kind of happened. It was awesome.
Okay.
we talked about it on this trip a lot. People, even in this day and age, still like to be around other people.
Yeah.
And our club just likes people. We're just people that like being around other people. So anyways, this led to me being in liquor stores a lot, buying, and all of a sudden, you know what it's like. Once you get started on this whiskey journey, you're going to liquor stores, you're on YouTube. I was probably on your website reading your reviews at some point, right? And then it's growing. So we end up going on a trip to Scotland in 2017. The club had started in 2015, and there was
the name of the club.
What's that?
Your name of the club?
The Edmonton Scotch Club. Yeah. So when we go to Scotland, I had messaged a liquor rep that I had met, who I knew lived in Scotland, but he had a company in Alberta, and I just met him at one of those events where they're just pouring at tables, like the one we were at tonight. I would have met him at one of those. Yeah. And I said, hey, his name was Bob Kyle. Hey, Bob, we're coming to Scotland. Like, maybe we can meet up. And he's like, oh, sure, no problem. I'm not doing my Scottish accent. I get in big trouble when I do accents. We're not going down that path.
Not touching that one,
man.
that's for sure.
Keep drinking whiskey.
Yeah, we're going to get there.
Yeah, the accent. Get there. End of the episode, we'll do the accent.
Yeah.
It goes in so many different directions, and my wife just shakes her head. So
at least you're Scottish, Travis. You can actually.
Yeah, I am 83% Scottish. Like I should be able to do it. It's not cultural appropriation or any of that. So we go to Scotland, and we get to Glasgow, and Bob picks us up, and we as a club we have this thing where we wear thrift shop suits, not suits, sport coats.
Yeah,
tweed. Valley Village, less than $15 jackets.
Okay.
So it's like you had to go to a thrift shop, spend $15 and buy these tweed, because we just thought it was kind of like, if you're drinking whiskey, you got to look
the part.
Yeah. But we didn't want to take it too seriously. So we get picked up in Glasgow, and we end up at a really high-end, I won't say the name of the brand, but we end up at a table in the head office of an independent bottler. Okay. And like these guys are coming in like nice suits.
We instantly realized we had no business being there. We were like, this is I don't know what's happening. I looked at Travis looked at me, we looked at each other, we're like, I think this is happening.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how I feel about it, but they were so welcoming, they're so friendly.
They were great. Yeah.
They were brilliant.
Big long table, leather chairs. Yeah. We're there. We're like, oh God, let's not mess this up.
Are they looking at our jackets?
I believe it was.
We were worried. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm wearing a tweed jacket from Valley Village
with a club patch on it. Yeah. So, anyways, they put out a bunch of bottles in the middle, like when they pull a sample from a cask, and it's just got a little white sticker on it, and it was like, crazy stuff. But I remember one of the bottles was a Carstbridge 42-year-old, and to this day, probably just because of the experience and the moment, it goes down as one of my best drams of all time. And I don't even remember what it tastes like, but I just, that moment.
Of course.
And I think we were kind of like, whoa, we would deserve this.
Oh,
we
we
deserve this. We're okay.
We gave that one guy a pin that one time. So we're good, I think.
So you take this pen, I'll take the 42-year-old
exactly.
cartridge.
And you're trying to make sure you're nosing properly and then doing everything properly, not rushing it. And, I'm sure we killed it. So anyways, we'll speed this up a bit. We go to another supplier, another brand, have another event with them in the Inverarity Whiskey Club shop in Glasgow. It's like one of the oldest whiskey. Great shop, fun place. Yeah. And then at like 2 a.m, we're at a karaoke bar in Glasgow, and Bob basically said, guys, I would really like it if you could help rep for me in Alberta. Like he basically was like offered us a job with his company. Wow. And we were just like, it was 2 a.m. in Glasgow. We weren't saying no. He just took us all over. We're like, sure, we'll do it. And so that was kind of it for us. Like we got our foot in the door, and we went from just being like these idiots drinking with our friends to these idiots representing like really cool brands.
And amazing brands. Like we're so lucky from day one to have access to incredible whiskey, like incredibly gifted craftsmen. And it was just, I'm still to this day surprised that I get to do this.
But here you are, you're two guys in a whiskey club going to Scotland. You make good friends with this guy, Bob.
Yeah.
He wants you to rep his brand in Alberta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now you have to figure out how to rep a brand in Alberta.
Yeah.
So how does that work?
Honestly, it's a bit of a blur. We still both have full-time jobs. This isn't our full-time thing. It's like you work many jobs until you kind of can make enough money to leave one. And so, we kind of faked it till we made it, I think, at first. Like the brands were not, because Bob was in Scotland, and so there wasn't a lot of representation. So a lot of the brands kind of needed a little, like they were on the bottom shelf at some of the stores, so they needed some attention. I don't know. We just started driving to stores and pouring whiskey for people and we told the story about how we got to this point, and people love that story because it's just so genuine and
it's authentic, I think.
Silly and authentic. We didn't. And then we just poured good whiskey for people and just told them how cool we thought it was.
I also think we're really lucky that we have a little bit of overlap, maybe. Like in our jobs, we have this ability to speak with people and interact with, and there's a lot of social intelligence, I think, that comes involved in this. And even though I didn't understand the whiskey as much, I got really excited about the history of whiskey, which overlaps with other things I work on. And the social intelligence of people interested in whiskey became something I kind of actively engage in. Yeah. And then it was exciting. Like I was having fun. And this idea of the layers of this industry, once you go past the curtain a little bit, you kind of get like, there's an energy there. There's an excitement. Yeah. When you get a chance to like move into these big whiskey festivals and whatnot, there's this energy, there's this excitement. And I was drawn to that. And I think Travis right away too saw that, hey, if we get a chance to be in that room, there's a little bit of there's like a boutiquiness feel to what we're doing. And people are kind of like, we're not really a threat to anybody, I don't think, in a way. Like I said, like you said this a couple times, like we're not competing as much as we're like helping each other engage with content and engage with whiskey. So we were in this boutique situation. We somehow all of a sudden magically gained authenticity, which doesn't still surprise me. And so people are kind of welcoming us in and being so friendly and giving us advice. And here's some names of different store managers that are pretty awesome. Yeah. And once you kind of get into that relationship, man, people got your back and they start helping you out. And there's a lot of people scratching each other's backs, and it's just awesome. And you just feel so welcome in a way. Yeah. Maybe it's Alberta. I don't know. I've never worked anywhere else, but it seems to be really, really like there's a lot of positivity. And right away I felt it. And they're like helping us get kind of going.
Okay.
It's the best. The whiskey industry, I've worked in several industries. The whiskey industry is just this, it's a special, it's like you said the other day with independent bottlers. You're like, we're not don't compete against each other. We're friends. We talk about our great casts. We talk about it's just a really fun environment to be a part of. But like when we're on trips like this, we make sure we remind our lovely wives, this is work. We are working.
Yeah.
I like send, this is us. We're talking for 5 hours straight. This isn't, but it is fun.
Yeah.
It's enjoyable.
But so everybody so first off, I think most people outside of Canada don't really understand the Canadian market.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They hear about things like the LCBO, which I know you don't deal with. You're in Alberta. But they hear of the nightmares of dealing with, trying to get whiskey into Canada and working with, that sort of thing. And, anybody who has any interest in the inner workings of getting whiskey around and getting whiskey into a consumer's hands, says, oof, that seems like it can be quite difficult.
Daunting,
I think even Canadians might, this seems kind of difficult, right? Like, was it difficult?
Well,
Is it like, okay.
I will say I felt lucky that we had a little bit like Bob Kyle was still around, and he was the original guy we met in Scotland, and he was kind of mentoring some of his. This is how you move it into HLC. This is what the system kind of looks like. Yeah. But also AGLC is a kind of like that's Alberta, the Alberta Liquor Organization.
Yep.
Alberta Liquor Gaming. And what's the last? What's this?
AGLC.
AGLC. So like the idea that this
Alberta Gaming and Liquor Commission.
Yeah, Commission. That's right.
Says the American.
There you go. Yeah. But interacting with like once I wasn't exactly on that side of it as much.
Yeah.
Like that was Bob Kyle was working with and Travis. I was more in the front, like almost the front office, like the idea of meeting the people. But as soon as we get the rhythm of that process of getting this, Alberta's pretty hands-on. You meet a couple managers and then you figure out how the system works. The managers are also trying to get your product in.
Yeah.
Like each store manager in Alberta is kind of, they are competing amongst themselves, and they're excited to get your product in, especially if it's special.
Yeah.
So they're kind of coaching along too. And like, this is how this is going to work. And, we also got a chance. So once we got kind of that part of the system figured out, and Travis might have more insight to this, but once involved in the store, then it's just marketing. Then it's just interacting with people and like finding the consumer where they're at and be like, this is kind of cool. We also didn't have a huge volume of product. It wasn't like we're running Guinness or anything. So So it was kind of like this, almost
It'd be sweet if we had Guinness though.
If Guinness is listening, my name is David Roberts. How are you doing?
I think the best way to explain it would be, we can talk about how we got Single Cask Nation, right?
Yeah.
So we were introduced to you through a mutual friend who had a liquor store and said, we'd really like to get Single Cask Nation. This is like COVID times.
Yep.
Into Canada. And so this is when we started PWS Imports.
Yeah.
Me and Stephen Shaw at the time were like, he's like, I want to start importing whiskey. You want to join me? And that's when I joined and we started PWS. And so the way it works is Canada is like, 10 provinces, 2 territories. And it's much like we discussed the States. Every province has their own system. So we have a license in Alberta. We can only bring Single Cask Nation into Alberta.
Yeah.
And at this point in time, we do have a license in Ontario, and we have some other products from Two Stacks over there, Two Stacks Irish Whiskey.
Yep.
But
Delicious.
each province, you have new rules to follow, new sort of people to deal with, and it's very complicated.
Yeah.
So the good thing is Single Cask Nation, once you're in Alberta, Alberta is kind of this place where like, as long as we register your product properly, we can pretty much bring anything into Alberta.
And any size of quantity, like that's important too. Like small batches, big batches, all that kind of works. Right?
So it's quite, if you go to a liquor store in Edmonton or Calgary, Alberta, you'll see sometimes more selection than shops in Glasgow in terms of whiskey. Like we have so much selection because the system is fairly open to come in, you pay your taxes, and then go. So that part of Canada is
We're called the Wild West. Yeah.
well, it's fairly simple. And so now we have single cask nation in Alberta.
Yeah.
And luckily we are able to, ship bottles from Alberta into other provinces, and don't really need to say how. It's sort of like one of those weird things right now where it's happening.
Yep.
Wineries in BC are shipping wine to Alberta.
Yeah, sure.
People are shipping whiskey from Alberta. It's happening, and it's kind of like a thin line right now.
Yeah.
Where I think sooner or later it'll be more. I think just happening more often.
Yep.
But the good news is that people can get single cask nation across Canada.
Yeah.
And that's the best part is we get to get your products, and like we're in Ottawa right now, and
I know,
and
right?
people know who you are,
Yeah.
and people are coming to your table and saying, "I love your stuff. What do you got?"
Yeah.
kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And I think the good news is also that single cask nation is desired everywhere because of what you guys do, how you guys, it's your cask selection process and all that jazz. This is something that's special. And I think it's like the independent bottler world, and Alberta that's what makes Alberta in many ways. The rarity of small batch liquor available to Albertans.
Right.
Their walls are almost intimidating. Like it's really exciting if you have an idea what's going on. But like again, Travis said earlier, some of these whiskey stores in Alberta compete with stores in possibly Scotland. And that is something that I can't get my head around really.
Wow.
But it's true. And it's fun. And
So it's like just loaded with various indie bottlers. And
It's absolutely it's great for the consumer.
Yeah.
For the agency, and the it's actually quite daunting because it's very, you can say competitive, like we're not fighting, but there's so much selection that you now have to say, how are we going to stand out from the Adelphis, the Gordon MacPhails, the brands that have been around for a lot longer, agencies that have been around, and you just got to you have to find ways to somehow separate yourselves. And if you don't, you end up lost in a world of a lot of like that. I don't know how many independent bottlers are there right now. You tell me.
Oh man, I don't know. Like even if Dave's got his shoes and socks off, like we'd all we need more people to
count.
There's
Absolutely.
a lot. There's a lot. They've told me.
And we have most of them.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
is
we have independent bottlers that are bringing one series, one SKU, one new independent bottler.
Wow. Yeah.
And it's just cool to see. As a consumer, though, if you have Alberta is so lucky, and that's the system built this luck a little bit, but it's like we appreciate it. And Albertans are so excited about good whiskey. It's fun.
It's great. It's so cool.
spoiled. We're spoiled.
We're spoiled.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me because we have friends that buy stuff in auction, and I once in a while buy stuff in auction. But it's kind of crazy that we go to a whiskey shop and see the whiskey selection that we have, and you're like, nothing here for me. I'm going to the auction sites and I'm going to order it on the other side of the world and ship it in. It's all legal. But we have so much whiskey. It's kind of funny to me that we still are always, I think it's that rarity thing.
Yeah.
Like you're like, I want to have a bottle that I can bring to an event that no one else has in my city, like there's that. But I still kind of find it, I give some of my buddies a hard time. I'm like, we have so much stuff.
We have so much. And if our wives are listening, when Travis says auction, he means he's not spending much. Nancy, I don't buy much from auctions. Just saying. So the wives are aware.
Our friends do, we don't.
Yeah, we're
That's
decent.
it, right? It's the other people in your
Those
club.
guys are crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But it's also
fun.
but it also helps we get some, because we have such a good selection, we have such a knowledge of what's possible. And I think that
interesting.
is an epiphany. It's cool, dank whiskey exists. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Well, dankness is, right? And then you have where does funk come from? Oh, you know what's really neat? Leather bound library whiskey. That's something I'm really excited about. And Travis is like, let's find 10 of them and turn it into something.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is that? Most people are like, those are tasting notes. I'm like, yeah, saddle.
Wow.
Horse saddle.
Yeah.
It's a good one. Find some tar. And you guys talk about this all the time, right?
Yeah.
But I think, like you said, 95% of whiskey people may not have a real clue what those tasting notes come from. And here in Alberta, we're like, that's one of 18.
Wow. So you feel the level of whiskey geekery within Alberta might be slightly elevated compared to other markets?
I don't.
Or no?
I
You don't think so?
No.
You just think that the market itself just
Allows it.
allows for that possibility.
Yeah, I think there's whiskey geeks. Whiskey geeks are everywhere, and whiskey geeks are the best. They're the ones that
Yeah.
come up to you at a table at the tasting tonight, and literally they're going through each whiskey and they're writing down their notes, and like the whiskey
love those
geeks,
people.
they're everywhere. And
Yeah.
they're awesome.
But I think the possibility of random amazing whiskey experiences increases in Alberta. Like you just grabbed a bottle off a wall.
Yeah.
You're not really sure exactly what it is. And you're like, that's incredible. Whereas some people grabbing bottles off their home walls in other places around the world wouldn't even have a chance of that random possibility.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And that's kind of cool too.
Yeah. Okay.
Like we brought in some Ardamurkin with Single Cask Nation.
Yeah.
Someone might have just randomly walked by and picked that up.
Yeah.
And it might completely change their life.
God, I hope so.
I hope so.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
That's why we're here, right?
Yeah, exactly.
How much fun would that be to get some? Actually, it's brilliant.
Yeah. We started this trip off with us in Quebec City and pouring for Whiskey Quebec, right? And we had 80 people that we were pouring for. Committed.
Oh my goodness.
And that was 80 of, I think they said their group is like 200, 400, it's just hundreds, okay? Yeah. And they are, like you said, committed whiskey people. And they all had, right, they came with their special wooden boxes.
I thought that was the coolest thing. They bring their own cups.
Yeah.
So they all had their own personal cup carrying reality.
Yeah. And that's one of so many clubs. Them, the Southern Ontario Sippers, right? The Taco Group, the Companions of the Quake, right? Mm-hmm. Right? The list can go on. There's, the classic Joshua Hatton incomplete,
Malt
list.
Maniacs in Northern Alberta.
Right.
Yeah. BC.
And I find that really remarkable that there's this like community of whiskey clubs, and they're tight-knit. And I just, and it seems different. It seems different than the groups in the U.S. somehow. And I'm trying to figure out why. Part of me thinks it's because Canada is so ginormous and you're only 35 million people, right? So, you're kind of spread a bit far and wide. And so you kind of need to be a bit more tight. And because, maybe your system is set up kind of weird, right? Only Alberta has the really cool stuff. And the other provinces, it's kind of tough to get that, right? Like, I'm trying to figure out why your clubs seem to be, and again, this is just an outsider perspective, but I'm trying to figure out why your clubs just seem to be much more a tight-knit community than others that I've witnessed. And just from your perspective, what can you tell us about the Canadian clubs? Canadian club. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Canadian club.
Oh my gosh.
Perfect.
Yeah. Welcome to our new sponsors.
Yeah.
All right.
They were there tonight too.
They were there tonight, for sure.
I don't know enough about the other countries, so I can only speak to my experience in Canada, and I don't even know. To try and explain it is hard, and I've said this on our podcasts many times. I just say, like, we have the best whiskey community in the world. I truly believe it, and I say it almost every episode. Mm-hmm. We give a Whiskey Club Canada shout out on every episode, and we're just trying to acknowledge all the great clubs.
Tell our listeners.
What's the podcast?
Last Call Whiskey Podcast.
Ooh,
it's a podcast geared towards whiskey drinkers in Canada. We review whiskey available in Canada, but it's also just anyone. The episodes are really long, but like if you're mowing your lawn for 3 hours, it's a good listen.
Yeah. If you're driving between 12 states.
Yeah. So when I think about like my first trip to the Victoria Whiskey Festival, and I'm just, again, a member of the Edmonton Scotch Club. I go there, I have some pins, and I go there and I meet people from Smoke and Dirt Whiskey Club. Next thing I know, I have a Smoke and Dirt Whiskey Club pin that I still wear to this day.
I think we like pins.
Yeah, we love pins. We do love pins. I run into the guys from the We Rock Whiskey Club, which is Salt Spring Islands off the coast of Vancouver Island. And they give me a pin, and we're now emailing with each other about all it. And then I go to, another festival and wherever else. And it just seems like everyone's just so happy to be around each other. Yeah. And then in this day and age with Instagram and Facebook groups and emails, that it's like, I mean, you've been now to Ottawa twice, and the amount of people that just come back and they're like, hey, and they're just so happy that you came back. They're so happy that you're part of this community now. I don't think there's any one way. Maybe what you described, like it's almost like a big country that feels small because
yeah. Well, I was thinking exactly.
So many clubs that are just doing their own thing, but then we get together and do like other things when we're together, and we're just we're with another club.
Well, that's what I'm actually. I think you're touching on something here, Travis. And I think the same thing, Josh. This idea of there's a big country, but there's actually very few big. Or not few, but there's whiskey events that become kind of like everybody just goes to, in the sense of like there's a series of people that are like, let's go to the Victoria Whiskey Fest, and then you meet people at the Victoria Whiskey Fest, and then it starts to connect. Yeah, that connective tissue begins, and then everyone comes out here to Ontario. Whiskey Wonderland was wonderful,
fantastic,
and then fantastic, and then you could make your way to. Then we hear about while we're here, we're like, hey, we have something really cool happening in Nova Scotia. You just come check this one out. Yeah. And they're like, you know what? Like the girls back in Alberta, Dram Fine is doing something this summer. Like, we should go check that out. And then people start traveling to see, and then maybe because we're so broad, we travel to each other, and then we're like all in these little moments of togetherness, and we start interacting, changing emails, and talking about like our common realities, like running a club. There's a lot of common problems. There's also a lot of common joys. And I think that's so neat. Everyone starts sharing in their different accents, because Canadians have different accents everywhere. Yeah. They talk about their differences and what makes them work, and I think that these whiskey festivals are a big part of that. And then because of that, we're like, okay, well, what are you doing? Maybe I'll come check out your world, right? And then once you get that part of it, then it's just road tripping. Who doesn't like a good road trip?
Yeah.
When you've never been in a, like, you don't have a whiskey club now, but have you ever been in a whiskey club?
Yeah, I mean...
Like, are you lonely, Joshua? Like, come here. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, can we switch places? Can I have that couch, Travis?
Lay down.
Can we have a little couch time?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have like a local whiskey club. I've got a group of friends, that will get together. Maybe once or twice a year, but they're kind of far flung. I live on the shoreline of Connecticut, and some are in northern Connecticut, some are in Massachusetts, and I'm really lucky that they'll drive 45 minutes an hour to my house, or maybe we'll drive up to them, and but we're not like, we don't call ourselves a club. We're just some friends that get together occasionally.
Yeah.
I'm really jealous of that.
Well, you should call yourself a club, make a pin, and then you feel... That's it.
You just need the pin.
Dude, that pin goes a long way.
You just need a pin.
Just need a pin.
There could be 3 of you. If you have a pin, you're a club.
That's a club, man.
God damn, all I need is the pin.
And then you have a pin, and then everyone's like, where's that pin from? You're like, it's kind of a thing.
Let's go back to your original question. What makes the clubs in Canada special? It's the pins. It's definitely the pins. And the Smoke and Dirt Whiskey Club
has a fabulous
in
pin.
Victoria claim to be kind of the ones that started the whole Scotch Club lapel pin trend. And I'm going to go with that. So they get some kudos for that.
Here's a question for you. Do you see pins in whiskey events in America? Because we have pins. You saw it today. There's a bunch of guys with pins.
Do I see? That's a very good question. I don't think that I do, but I don't know if I necessarily pay attention to them.
Are we making a pin right now?
I think we're making a pin. Did a pin just go into production?
Boom.
I'll have one.
But you know what? I think part of the reason why, and true confessions, guys, right now.
Yeah, this is.
I think part of the reason why I don't have a whiskey club is I don't have any people around me that necessarily are as geeky about whiskey as I am. There are people around me who are interested in whiskey and who enjoy whiskey, but don't necessarily enjoy whiskey on the level that I enjoy whiskey. And maybe I just need to do the work of facilitating that. And I think I'm kind of, because whiskey is my work, I'm kind of lazy once it gets to that point of facilitating, of running a club.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want to run the club. I want to be a part of the club.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean? Yeah.
No, that makes sense. Like education and whiskey, once you get started, is a little bit daunting.
Yeah.
I think there's like, it's exciting for me.
Yeah.
I enjoy it, but there's a lot for me to still learn. And I've been in this game for, 5, I haven't been around forever, but there's still so much to learn. And it's one of those things, once you dig into it a little bit, you're like, what do you mean there's 4 levels of casks? What do you mean casks don't exist? It's actually barrels. No, barrels are okay as a cask. And then you're like, okay, there's different countries with different, and the oak in southern Spain is different than the oak of France.
Yeah,
isn't that Europe?
yeah.
And then there's straight oak and there's enzymes, and then all of a sudden you're just stuck.
Yeah,
and it's like then like this term I used earlier, analysis paralysis. You're like, I don't know where to go from here.
Yeah.
And it's exciting, but it's also kind of terrifying. Mm-hmm. But once you get into it and you find a couple other people that are like I have a lovely friend who works at an Oka distillery.
Yes.
And he said something like Gurpreet. Here's a shout out. I love the man.
Yeah, huge shout out to Gurpreet.
Oh, he's amazing. And last night, spending time with him, he's using words I didn't know were words. Like, I understand chemistry, I guess, but he's using like science to explain geekdom. And I don't know if I was ready for that yet. I'm like, no, let's go back to like, this smells like peach cobbler. That's okay. That's where I'm at right now. And he's like, well, that comes from this chemical reaction. I'm like, I don't think I'm ready for that quite yet. And that's just, so you have to, I don't know. For me, there's a lot of information. Yeah. But if you make it in bite-sized chunks, it's...
Yeah, he definitely appreciates whiskey on a level that I'm not at, for sure. It was very cool tasting his whiskeys.
Yeah.
Or his almost whiskeys, right? Because they're not 3 yet.
He's got a couple just started, just over 3.
Right, but that Anoka stuff, I think is remarkable. I think Canadian whiskey is, I don't know much about it, but tasting his stuff, like,
solid,
is really, really, really solid.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's a brand. It's a category that, and we're probably going to go off track here. We don't have to go too far off track.
I don't mean to go too off track.
It's a category that is often misunderstood, and I think there's some people in the industry that are getting that back on track.
Yeah,
we talked about Reese Sims and what she's doing to kind of develop Canadian flavor guides and stuff. But if you just look purely at whiskey, and you look what they're making, what he's making at Anoka Distillery, and you're like, if this is where Canadian whiskey is going, we're in for a ride.
A big ride.
Is it, is every other distillery going to follow suit? Probably not. Yeah. But we have just that alone is exciting, and hopefully it leads to somewhere that we can be like, people are going to be talking about a distillery in Canada and being like, this is some world class, spirit. Now, who knows? Like we said, what happens in the cask is sometimes magic.
Yeah, right.
And who knows where it goes from here? But all signs are great. And how cool is it sitting around? And we talk about this community, but sitting in a room with someone who is making something like that, and just being able to ask questions, and that's, we go back to the community aspect of it. That stuff is what makes all of this amazing.
Yeah.
Those moments are just so fun and cool, and I'm. And we just, Dave and I still go back to we just feel like we're still idiots in all of this.
Yeah, man.
And we're not worthy. But at the same time, we're we worked hard. It's like you said yesterday in your master class. You're like, I worked hard to get to this point with Single Cask Nation. And yes, do we sometimes make fun of ourselves for us as in our knowledge and everything? But we worked hard to get here. And when you have those moments, it's almost just kind of like, this is all worth it, you know?
Yeah.
That's kind of how I felt last night.
Yeah.
And I also think like and we're piggybacking on like good whiskey's coming. I think universally there's some cool whiskey being made, not just in Alberta, but everywhere. And we're starting to get access to good whiskey. And I'm not worthy of that in many ways. I feel like maybe, but I'm like, man, when I see artists making art, I'm like, this is, I almost feel like, do I belong in this conversation with these people? I kind of wanted to just shut up and let them tell me what they want me to do.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they're like, thank you, Dave. Thank you, Travis. Thank you for being a part of this scenario where we get to deliver good whiskey to good people. And I'm like, everyone's, I don't know, it's just everyone's like, we all have our role to play. And if that makes it so some people get a really cool experience,
I just argue with one thing. You say you're like, cool whiskey is coming. We have so much cool whiskey already. I'm like,
It's not here yet, Travis. It's coming.
We're not sitting around
it's
like,
almost.
Oh man, I can't wait till that good whiskey's ready. We're just talking about how spoiled we are. There's lots of good whiskey.
And you're absolutely, and there's, you know what, on top of that, like today, we see these like people who have been around whiskey for 20, 30 years. Like, and they're like excited about something they just tried. They're like, this is a cool in this cup.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how many cups of whiskey has this man enjoyed? Igor.
Yeah, right.
And he's like excited. He's like, so he was excited to show us something that he's involved in. I'm like, that is, man, I want to be that excited.
Yeah. So just for our listeners' sake, Igor is a gentleman here in Canada who's also an importer who imports a number of independent bottlers, but also some French spirits as well, Armagnacs and Cognacs, and just a brilliant guy, really fun to hang out with.
We had a 32-year-old Kalila.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It was a banger.
Yeah.
And it was exciting.
Yeah.
And it's just like, so like the fact that there's cool whiskey here, there's a cool story happening. There's always something to get excited about.
Yeah. Yep.
And it just gives, motivates you to keep going.
Yep.
Because we're not, well, maybe one day we'll all be millionaires. But not today.
We'll be incremental millionaires.
It's just, life experience.
Incremental is a good word.
Yeah.
Little increments.
Baby step millionaires. Change something.
So I want to get into an area. This is going to be touchy.
All right. I'll get my whiskey.
Yeah. Get your whiskey.
Okay, I'm gonna start smart.
And I want to ask this in a way without getting too political.
Oh, okay.
Right. Bourbon is incredibly popular in Canada, but we can't send it to you guys anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious. With bourbon not really being available on your shelves anymore, like, is that something that's missed? Is something replacing that? Are people missing it, wishing it was back? Like what's the public view overall right now about the current situation? Again, I'm not looking to get political because that's not the aim of the question.
Yeah. So this is January or February. Where are we? What time? February.
I think it's
mid-February,
February
2026
of 2026.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in Canada, the two big boards that are bringing in bourbon is the LCBO in Ontario, one of the largest private liquor purchasers in the entire world.
Yeah.
And I don't think we underestimate what that means, guys. Like, when LCBO chooses not to bring something in, it's a huge problem for.
Well, they didn't just not bring it; they took it all off their shelves.
It's off the shelf.
So, and then BCLS in British Columbia, same thing. So no bourbon in British Columbia.
Okay.
And
SAQ
that's
too.
Same thing. A very big purchaser. SAQ as well.
SAQ as well. I'm not sure.
So again, each province has their own rules.
Yeah. SAQ is Montreal.
Yeah.
Quebec.
Quebec.
Yeah.
Quebec.
All
Sorry.
Quebec.
Yeah, Quebec.
So in Alberta, we actually do still have bourbon.
Oh, okay.
So stores can bring it in if they
There's actually
want.
an interesting scenario there, but
It just went off. For a while, we weren't allowed. So here, I'll give you an example. So we did have a couple bourbon products under PWS's umbrella.
Yeah.
And when all the tariffs started coming down, for a while, Alberta just said, we're not bringing in bourbon products.
Mm-hmm.
So anything we had, even in the warehouse, we weren't allowed to touch.
Oh, interesting.
So you're basically like, you're sitting on thousands of dollars of product. And for us, we're not very big. But for some companies that have like a lot of American brands, they were sitting on tens and tens of thousands of dollars of product.
Sure.
But what I'm hearing from retailers is people are buying less bourbon in Alberta, even though it is available.
Yeah.
And they are just finding other things to drink. Now, we have these like bourbon-esque whiskeys that some distilleries are making, and more so now in Canada. And they're trying to sort of create that profile. It's really, really hard to recreate bourbon, especially the climate stuff and how it's matured. But the market is buying less American whiskey. There's 100%, even when they can in Alberta, they're buying less. And on top of that, Canadians are just like WestJet is one of our airlines. They're just not. They're flying less to Canada or to the United States as well.
So you think the idea of these bourbon distilleries aren't having maybe just possibly, again, I don't know if the data in front of me, but possibly less tourism, less people walking through that door, less of these whiskey experiences. I have a friend who recently went to America to go hang out with some other bourbon friends. He's a big bourbon drinker, and his wife was like, maybe that's not a good idea right now. And I don't think I've ever heard that reality of like, let's take a couple of years off. But I think, like, again, I obviously to the American audience, this is the reality that we're living in right now, and it's hard. And I hope these people that are like threatened, like this is threatening for their jobs and everything else. This is a difficult time because of what's happening. And I'm not trying to like diminish their reality, but Canadians are kind of like, we're looking out for ourselves a little bit too here, right? And this is a reality where a lot of Canadians are like, well, let's take a second look at our habits in things like tourism, groceries, whiskey. It's a luxury item. So if you're going to make some decisions, but at the same time, we're also like in that moment of curiosity, I kind of see it a little bit as again, I'm not trying to diminish anybody else, but for us here, like in PWS, we have an opportunity to show people you like bourbon, and maybe you're not interested in bourbon as much right now. Well, here's a really interesting Scotch whiskey. And is it a move? Earlier, they're talking about how like if you're not buying a bourbon at $60, are you going to go $70 to $80 for a Scotch, or are you going to go down to a Canadian whiskey? Not saying down in quality, but maybe down in price. But what does that look like? And if you've had the Canadian whiskeys and you had some bourbons, and you're like, I'm curious about a Scotch, we might have a chance to show people a cool Scotch, and maybe that curiosity becomes opportunity. But again, like it's who knows how long this will last? Who knows if people could like bounce back? Like,
hopefully for everybody's sake, right?
Absolutely,
things bounce back. It's right. Things shift and so on and so forth. But I was just curious overall.
I don't think there's no animosity against bourbon.
Of course.
I think there's animosity, if there is any. It's about the whole situation.
The situation.
And that might be fleeting. That once we get past the situation, maybe we get a chance to, I love good bourbon. Yeah. I just haven't bought any in the last couple of months.
Is there a particular pride with, in the U.S., we love our bourbon.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Bourbon is great. Bourbon is king. And understandably so.
Yeah.
Is Canadian whiskey king in
Championed
Canada?
by Canadians.
Yeah.
I don't think to the same level of bourbon for Americans. No. And I think like when you look at whiskey before all this, when you would do like searches and ask stores what sell, like bourbon sells extremely well up here.
Yeah.
Like it just does. So
yeah.
Canadian whiskey it's sometimes it's almost like we need like a champion to really just keep talking about, and we do have a few people in the industry that are doing a really good job of it.
Davin, and then
Davin, the Corgamo wrote has a Canadian whiskey book that's great. It's, I think, part of the thing where you talked about like this giant country And like we have this giant country with this style of whiskey, but it's a style of whiskey with lots of options and varieties, and so it's not the same as bourbon, but there are some very passionate people when it comes to Canadian whiskey. And I actually, from what I've seen, we just had the first ever Canadian Whiskey Week leading up to the Canadian Whiskey Awards.
Oh, wow.
And there was an online tasting and basically just a bunch of people getting together and like you said, championing Canadian whiskey. I really do think it's going in a really positive direction right now.
Yeah.
And I think there's some really big producers that are, I think, trying to make some more boutique style releases to kind of win over the nerds again. And then I think we have the boutique distilleries that are going to keep making that stuff. So I think it's an exciting time. It's just, it's like you just need more and more people kind of pushing that cause. And like Anoka Distillery coming on. And
there's so many cool.
Two Brewers Distillery up in the, there's lots of them.
Oh, I love Two Brewers.
But we're a country of, like you said, 35 million people spread over how many thousands of kilometers. It's just, it's a little bit of a harder battle, and we don't have the history of like the bourbon. Maybe that's not, I shouldn't say that. I don't know enough about the history of Canadian whiskey.
Incredible history.
I should know more.
Actually, I'm going to jump in here. I think what Travis is trying to say, we do have incredible whiskey history. Like, my goodness, Canadians, Al Capone is tied directly to Canadian whiskey. He's bringing the Canadians whiskey south. Like it's a part of the DNA of Wisers and stuff. It's incredible how big these Canadian whiskey. But what we don't have, I think, and maybe this is a little bit broader question, and we don't have to get into it too much, but I think culturally, the connective tissue that Canadians have east-west is sometimes weaker than south-north. So what does that mean?
Oh, interesting. Okay.
It's the idea, like, for instance, we don't see Canadian whiskey commercials because we can't compete with American whiskey commercials. Jack Daniels is literally pasted everywhere. Let's move away from whiskey. We watch the NHL, right? We watch hockey. But if you ask most Canadians, some Canadians are more interested in the NFL than they are the CFL. Like, because football is so popular, I might walk around and see more, in Edmonton, Alberta, more Seattle Seahawks jerseys than Edmonton Elks jerseys. And that reality of like, culturally, we're connected so deeply with Americans that we see the marketing in America for bourbon kind of makes its way north. We see Jack Daniels commercials everywhere. We hear about Tennessee everywhere. It's part of our whiskey mythos is a little bit now because it's those dollars, that culture just, TikTok's everywhere, right? So like the idea of like, it's just permeates communities in a way. So we know a lot of Americanisms because we're just connected to the cultural reality. And I think generally Canadian whiskey industries can't always, like Canadian clubs popular everywhere. In the same way, Canadian Club, Wisers, these but it's
40 and sure.
But can it touch a Jack Daniels commercial? Like when we watch the Super Bowl, it's American. And so we kind of have this awareness of American culture. And I think bourbon's obviously a big part of that. And I think that kind of overlaps in how this Americans and Canadians, we see ourselves in many ways, a part of the American reality.
That's so funny.
We're North Americans.
Homer Simpson was right.
It's
like Homer Simpson referred to Canada as
well, easy now, Homer Simpson.
Hey, I'm not Homer Simpson.
Easy now, Homer
Those
Simpson.
are his words.
That's right.
Not me.
You got way more hair than Homer Simpson.
That's right.
Those are not my words.
But I'm also not saying that we ignore our own Canadian identity. As you walk around amongst us, we have a Canadian culture.
Oh, 100%.
It's like that.
Which I love. I absolutely love.
Part of the stuff that makes bourbon so big in the States comes up into Canada is sort of what he's saying. And I'm going to get in trouble for the whole history of Canadian whiskey because Canadian whiskey has a boatload of history. I'm not as well adept at it as I should be, and it could go back even further than a lot of
my goodness.
So I'm not even going to go down that path. But I think what Dave's saying, we get so much of your advertising from the States up in Canada, and bourbon just kind of took hold, and people friggin'. People love bourbon up here. It's great, and it's.
But we also get advertising from Europe a little bit. Like we get Scotch conversations.
Sure.
And I don't know if you guys get those down there as much. Like the education on Scotch exists.
I mean, the big brands, of course. The Glenmorangies and the Fiddicks.
Well, they have Glenmorangie is hiring Americans to talk about whiskey. Like that's kind of
Isn't that funny?
That's what Canadians see. We're seeing
Yeah,
Americans,
they need Americans.
talk about Scotch, and we're like, cool, we want to be a part of that.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's how big your cultural ethos is, right?
Yeah. Well, sorry, guys.
Don't be sorry. I like Disney. It's real fun.
Is there something that, so first off, being at Whiskey Wonderland towards the end, I kind of walked around a little bit and I tried some Canadian whiskeys.
Mm-hmm.
I was over by oh my gosh, I'm so terrible with names, but
That one good one,
that one good one. No, I was trying one of the producers that was producing a bourbon-like product.
Is that Sawmill? Was it? No.
Shoot, I truly apologize. I forget the name. But I was trying his brand. I was trying another, and I'm really enjoying some of the newer brands that are coming out. And I'm just curious, like, from my perspective as a lover of American whiskey, like, I like bourbon, but I kind of wish bourbon could be more, because I think that it's a bit stuck in a box because it's tied to a New Chart American Oak cask.
Yeah.
But if we unlocked that and allowed it to, be matured in other casks, maybe we could allow consumers to enjoy other flavors, right? And I just wonder, is there something that you would like to see Canadian whiskey to become for consumers to maybe start appreciating it more?
It's honestly a really difficult question, because I think there's literally people that are trying to figure that out, that are spending a heck of a lot more time on it than we are. And I very recently said, we were talking about future podcast episodes, and I was like, we need to do one on Canadian whiskey. Like, we need to, all of us, I think, in the whiskey community probably need to do a better job of like pushing forward the category. And it's, I think it's happening. But to say, is there something they could focus on? Yeah. I think they're, like, it's really hard because you have, again, some really, really big distilleries, and they're
monsters.
They're doing their thing. We have some really good craft distilleries doing their thing. So to say like one thing to focus on, it's such a hard thing. Like,
maybe not a fair question.
Well, it's like, for example, we have like Alberta Premium has won awards, right?
Yeah, sure.
Like there's world awards being won by these whiskey guys, and that's great, right? And the innovative spirits there, like Two Brewers. I'm not sure if you interacted with Two Brewers often.
No, I didn't.
They have this innovative line of innovative whiskeys, and every single Two Brewers innovative whiskey is consciously an experiment, and that's so cool. And they're doing cool things, and they're delicious. Like sometimes they nail it out of the park. And again, I don't. So there's these two things that people are making an effort to make really good whiskey.
Yeah,
and I think it's just like. It needs to grow a bit as an industry. And I think there's an opportunity there right now. Like with bourbon on the shelf, well, maybe there's an opportunity for Canadian whiskeys to step in and present some cool things. I'm excited. Yeah. I love good whiskey. And if it comes from a really good story that's close to home, how awesome is that?
Yeah.
When you think of the big Canadian distillers, like I think of like Dr. Don Livermore as the master blender and Hiram Walker, right? So you think of like the Wisers and lines like that.
Lot 40.
And he is starting to create more mainstream products because they have a ton of like they have reps everywhere. They got money to advertise and to market. And he's starting to create some products that are sort of that a whiskey nerd would want to try, but also that are being marketed to a bigger audience.
Yeah.
And I think there's always that fine line, especially with these big companies, of like how much money do we want to spend on the nerds and how much do we want to spend on, So when people think of Canadian whiskey, they think of the big brands, the Crown Royal, all the ryes we have.
The Don
Draper. It's like, I think you've got to keep doing those because but then maybe like some of these innovative releases that are just like highlighting some of the other, potential, I guess maybe. And they're doing more of that. And I think that is great. If that keeps happening with some of the craft distilleries coming and doing some of their cool stuff, I think it's all going. And honestly, you guys could do a whole episode with someone a lot smarter than us.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, I realize it took us into a.
I will happily say my ignorance is loud at this moment. But I will also say, for me, maybe, again, I'm on the other end of the sales end a little bit, right? Maybe the audience is different. Like there's no Canadian. I don't know if there's a true Canadian audience per se. Like every region of Canada is different. Whereas there's like a bourbon audience. And if I aim for that audience, which might be mostly Americans, if I aim for that audience, I have a chance at something greater. So maybe as a sales reality, it's like we're just trying to push it out to people that will buy it. And if who that audience is, Canadians aren't aiming for Canadians all the time. Maybe they're aiming for the Don Drapers, right? You know, the American audience a little bit as well. So there's this kind of like, I don't know if that's true, but I think there might be something there, right? In this humility of like, we're going to sell always to Albertans. We're going to make whiskey in Alberta for the world, hopefully, to Japan, to whoever's interested in trying some really cool things.
I'll close this portion out with one thing, and then I want to move on to one last thing before we end our little conversation here. Is one thing that I'm excited about from an American perspective and from an independent bottling perspective is in the U.S. we have a brand called Far North Spirits, which they focus on independently bottling Canadian whiskeys.
Oh, cool.
And that's it. And highlighting Canadian spirits. And I really like that. And showing what can be done with Canadian whiskey. And my hope is that, again, it's a small brand and it's focusing on the whiskey geeks. But my hope is that, it gets the whiskey geeks excited about Canadian whiskeys because there's a lot to be excited about Canadian whiskey, I think.
I think also Canada's cool.
I think Canada's pretty fucking awesome.
Imagine the tourism. Come and check out these cool historical cities. Like Quebec is one of the oldest cities in the world.
Yeah.
Come try some Canadian whiskey.
Oh man, I loved going around.
How beautiful is that, right?
It was fucking awesome.
Yeah, like come to Alberta. We got land. Like if you come in August, you're going to see sunlight at almost midnight.
Yep.
That's something you don't see in America. There's some pockets of the Rockies that are just gorgeous. Two Brewers is up in the Yukon. How cool of a trip would that be? So there's a sense of like good whiskey, if it exists, where it exists, and the climate and the people and the culture around that good whiskey. If that draws people to us, that's awesome, right? And I think good whiskey itself is a community to begin with. I think that's the whole. We go back to the original question. That's why Travis and I are here. So Albertan whiskey, of good whiskey in Canada, is something people get excited about. Yeah, I don't think. That's cool.
I've wondered for a while why there isn't more brands like Far North. And we actually met Kevin here, who's doing a similar thing here in Canada. Spirits. Spirits for Us. Yeah. And he's going around and buying barrels from Canadian distilleries as an independent bottler. And you tried some. Yeah. And I've always wondered why there isn't more of that. I think Scotland, what is there, 140 distilleries now or something?
Give or take.
Yeah, but within changing all the time. And then you go to, you look at Canada, and we have, again, these really big players. And then we have now a growing number of, boutique craft distilleries, whatever you want to call them. Are those craft distilleries maybe not necessarily content to sell their casks at this point? Are they still too young in their journey? Is the big player, like a Hiram Walker or whatever it might be, are they even bothering selling casks because they're like, no, we can sell all this ourselves? So is it maybe different than Scotland, where it's not as easy to get these casks? So Far North to me is a really exciting brand, because I would love to see, like you say, we always say independent bottlers show you a different side of the distillery.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would love to see a Far North Weiser's cask or whatever it might be, a cask from Hiram Walker that just was completely different than anything else. But it could just be, the way Canadian whiskey's made, how they distill the grain and mash and everything, the grain separately, right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So they blend after the fact. So is that maybe part of it, where they're not just going to sell you a cask of 100% rye or 100% corn or whatever it is, because that just tastes nothing like what they want their final product to taste like, right?
Yeah.
So there could be a few roadblocks there to it, but far north is sort of a good example of something I'd like to see more of, and maybe spirits for us. And
Well, I'm gonna put you on the spot.
All right.
Suncast Nation, would you be interested in bottling a Canadian whiskey one day?
Oh yeah. Oh,
Right.
for sure.
And then who would be your target audience?
Who'd be the target audience for Canadian whiskey? I mean, just our people.
Yeah, the community, the
right?
nation,
the
right?
community, the nation.
Like, wouldn't that be
Yeah.
fun to have a Canadian whiskey in America promoted by American,
Yeah.
far north, and you
I
guys
mean-
doing that? And the funny thing though is, I bet you Canadians would actually pay attention more to your release in America, to Americans, sometimes, sadly,
Yeah.
possibly, than our release to Canadians from Canadians.
Yeah, potentially.
Like, it's like this weird, like, if it's other people are talking about you,
Yeah,
it's exciting, but if you're talking about you, everyone's kind of like, oh, that's just.
yeah.
And I'm not trying to be negative. I just think it's really interesting that there's that possibility, and I think that'd be cool.
So I just want to understand. I just want to make sure I'm understanding the sort of the latter half of that. Are you suggesting that if we bottled a Canadian, it might be more popular in the U.S. than it would be in Canada?
What I'm saying is, this is just. I've been on my feet all day, but the idea of
And you're drinking whiskey.
I've been drinking whiskey a little bit this week. I've also had a lot of poutine and some beers. So
Okay.
my thought is, I wonder if Canadians would get excited about Americans talking about Canadians. And the Canadians are like, look, they're talking about us. And there's almost like some sense of like, I don't know, a little bit of like, oh, they're actually paying attention. That's exciting.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either. And again, I don't sell
Yeah.
Canadian whiskey, and I would love the chance.
Yeah,
if you want to do that, I'm in.
From our perspective as independent bottlers, I mean, you probably heard me say this 100 times over the past few days. It's like we're an independent bottler who feel like stewards of a brand, and in the case of if we're going to be bottling a Canadian whiskey for the first time, it'd be like a steward of a brand, a steward of maybe not a country. Like that almost sounds like too grandiose, but you know what I mean?
Of course.
It's like we feel like we'd really have to do justice and show whatever we're doing in the best light.
And that,
you know what I mean? And
that's
it
exciting.
just, but bottling Canadian whiskey I think would be really exciting.
Well, and I think Canadian whiskey has a story to tell, and I think it's been told lots. And I think it'd be cool for people to hear it in a new, modern light sometimes. Man, there's so much good whiskey in this.
So much good whiskey,
and there's again there's amazing people making good whiskey.
100%,
and that is that's just awesome to be part of.
Yep. So I wanna close this up here. We look like we're getting tired. I have a flight to get on to tomorrow.
I never get
Plus,
tired.
our listeners are like, guys, come on. I thought this isn't, a last call whiskey podcast. This is One Nation Under Whiskey. You're shorter than last call.
Yeah.
We got 2 hours left, everybody.
Yeah, listen.
So PWS, how many years now is PWS?
So PWS started 2020, so we're sort of in our 6 year of importing whiskey into Alberta and now Ontario.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 6 years, right? So
And Single Cask Nation was brand number 1 or 2, like you were early days.
Wow.
Yeah. Single Cask Nation and Boulder Spirits were the first 2.
wow, look at that.
It's crazy.
2 American brands.
2 American brands. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Where do you see this going?
that's a good question.
What do you see going on in 2026? What do you've got going on? What are your plans?
Well, you and I have talked about this, but during COVID, when everyone was drinking at home, business looked like we were going to take off and be the biggest importers. And we were not in that sense, but we got super excited.
We're going to make millions.
We're going to make millions,
Yeah.
and we added a lot of, and started working with probably more brands than we probably should have at that stage of our life as a company. So we've really kind of honed that in, and we're really right now just trying to grow a couple of brands really well. And instead of trying to do a lot of things okay, we're trying to just do a couple things really well. And since you guys got purchased by Artisanal Spirits Company, and we've had access to more whiskey through you guys, a big part of that growth is how do we get more Single Cask Nation into Canada?
Yeah.
And it's for me it's exciting time for us and for you guys, because
hugely
the
exciting.
access to whiskey that you have, it just gets me and Dave excited, because we're like, who can we bring into this? Who can we get a cask to? And people want casks. They still do. I know the market's quieted a bit and that, but there's clubs that want cool casks. There's people that want, and so I think we're just trying to really grow sort of who is interested in buying Single Cask Nation and two stacks and Kelowna off of us, and that's kind of it. Like we have no. We both have full-time jobs. We have no aims of like retiring. So this is just like, let's just see where it goes gradually, organically, and not force anything.
Yeah. And to add to that, like I just joined. Travis has been here in the trench, not the trench. It's been wonderful, but like I'm kind of newish to PWS. I've only been here for just over a year now, and what I see is very similar to Travis's. Obviously, we're on the same page in many ways, but like this isn't a quick money scheme.
Yeah.
And I at first maybe we're hopeful, or Travis is hopeful, and I was kind of looking at him saying, okay, good luck with that. That's gonna be it. But then as soon as Travis, about a year ago when I was able to join in, it was very much a conversation around like what are our goals? And our goals have to be, one, we have to have fun.
Yeah.
We still have to enjoy this. It's not going to be like enjoyable all the time, but generally this has got to be fun. Like have a good time. Two, what this could give us could be a lot of like, experience and money and everything, but it's always going to be something that's going to grow slowly and organically.
Yeah.
Like this is there's no, you can't force this, man. You can't there's just kind of got to let it happen in the way that it happens. Cause as soon as you start to try to force this product onto people, they're going to bounce back on you.
Yeah.
And for me personally, I'm like, I've got so much to learn still.
Yeah.
That I feel like every time I interact in a way with this industry, I'm learning. And at that point, you're like, well, you're never going to have it all right. So you just got to try things. You just got to make an effort to find places of success and then try to replicate that a little bit. And then all of a sudden you start doing things that make sense. And it's not because you read it in a book or saw it on YouTube. Yeah. It's because you just take chances and you tried it. But I think fundamentally, and from what I saw looking out and what I saw now being involved, what Travis has done and what PWS I think is relationships.
Yeah.
We build relationships with the people we're working with. And I think they're pure. Like they come from an intent of, let's produce something really cool.
Yeah.
Really neat. Let's give someone an experience that they're going to walk away with. And if that's the heart of what you're kind of doing, that nobility, maybe, I don't know if it's noble, but there's a sense of like purity to it for me.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm like, that's awesome. Like, let's build some cool relations with the cool people. And let's get them some good whiskey.
Yeah.
And if you're doing that, how are you losing? Like, how are you now? Sorry, wife, that there's a snowstorm in Edmonton and I'm sitting here in Ottawa working really hard. But we're taking a chance doing things and it's going to pay off, I think.
Yeah.
You just got to keep at it and keep, building good relationships with good people. That's what I see is the magic formula.
I love it. All right. Final thing. Oh, go ahead. Tell me.
Oh no, I just like getting good whiskey out to good people. That's the.
We should make that a shirt, Travis.
Good whiskey out to good people.
Yeah.
That's the key, and that's what you guys are doing too.
Oh
exactly.
Man, you got some good whiskey, dude.
Cheers.
You have some amazing
we
whiskey.
got the good whiskey, but you guys do the job of getting it out to good people.
That's right.
Hey,
there you go.
Yeah.
Relationships.
So I'm gonna leave it with this question for you guys individually. And I'm gonna flip a coin.
Okay.
To I don't have a coin. All I have is a guitar pick.
You want to do rock, paper,
guitar
scissors?
pick. What's that?
You want to do rock, paper, scissors?
Yeah, do rock, paper, scissors. Okay, really quick. 1, 2, 3. Shit, 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah.
I win.
Yeah, he won. Okay, day one. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Top 3 distilleries. Go
Oh,
ahead.
I absolutely love Ben Nevis, Springbank.
Yep.
And recently, I've been getting more and more excited about, Morlock.
Morlock. Okay, Ben Nevis, Springbank, Morlock.
No, I said Springbank. I'm sorry, Travis.
All right, so big, heavy, greasy, dirty.
And it's like different regions of the same profile.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Travis?
We are going to be boring here. Springbank was my first real true love. I absolutely love Springbank, and I buy it and I drink it. So there you go. Yeah. Manickmore.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We talked about Manickmore
Yes, we did.
and just like that sort of fruity deliciousness.
Yeah.
And number 3, I think it's kind of my number 3 is kind of one of those like it just switches based on like what I'm really enjoying lately. Mm-hmm. And I've had a few really good releases from this distillery lately. So I'm going Williamson, Lefroy, independently bottled, or a couple of the core releases recently. But right now, Lefroy Distillery is I'm just loving, like the Williamson we had at the table tonight.
Yep.
Lefroy Lore edition of the Cargis.
Oh,
Yeah.
I always pronounce it wrong.
Yep.
Carchis?
Carchase.
Yeah. The Lefroy Lore version of that was one of my favorite Isla whiskeys in a long time.
Yep.
So I don't really just buy everything from like a few distilleries.
Yeah.
So I rotate a lot, but Springbank and Manickmore I think I'll stick with my top 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Travis,
how about you?
He said short, Travis. You said short.
I know, but I got to really explain the third one.
Well, now I feel like I got to talk a little more. So can I add a couple? No, okay. I will say this, though, a little added feature, Mortlock Independent Bottlers.
That makes sense.
Because I like core range Mortlock,
yeah.
but I've been stunned by some independent bottler Mortlocks in my time.
Well, I mean, you're dealing with cask strength,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Is that
And the
why?
worm,
Yeah.
And it was like my first kind of worm tub knowledge was Mortlock. And I'm like, I got kind of nerdy about that too. But also there's some growing interest in Loch Lomond. Oh, it's delicious. Okay, I'm done.
Look at Travis's face.
Oh, he's not
That's the
doing
dad.
this.
That's the dad coming out. Like,
Oh, that's the dad.
Yeah, see,
no, I'm with you. It's the Loch Lomond, right?
Loch Lomond is doing some wonderful things.
Yes, because it just produces mysteries.
Yeah, and it's just, Highlands.
Yeah.
It's just good.
Yeah.
what are your 3, Josh? I'm sure most of the nation knows, but I've heard him a couple over the week.
Come on, Josh.
Yeah, top 3. You
Yeah.
ready?
Yeah.
It's in the cannon. He's ready to go.
Ardnamurchan,
Boom.
All right.
Lagavulin,
Well done.
Imperial.
Oh, wow. Imperial.
Yeah, Imperial. Yeah, I love Imperial so much. I would almost choose Imperial as the first,
Okay.
but it's demolished, and for whatever reason, I have this like weird rationale in my head that because it's demolished, it can't be my favorite because eventually it's going to be gone, and like I don't know, that's the end of my rationale.
You love nostalgia, the nostalgia-ness of it is what I love.
Here's the thing. I love Imperial because I think it's so incredibly Imperial.
Okay.
Like Springbank is great because it's a Springbank. Imperial is great because it's Imperial.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Lagavulin was my gateway whiskey, and Ardnamurchan,
What's going on with Ardnamurchan? They tell us, like...
they love what they do, and it's
Yeah.
clear that they love what they do. And they're making whiskey in what seems to be in a style that no one is making anymore.
Beautiful.
It's like old school.
And I love that you're saying they. So the relationship with Ardnamurchan is feeding into that love of Ardnamurchan.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Now I want to go to Ardnamurchan.
You got them
Let's go to Ardnamurchan.
together.
100%.
Listen, I cannot thank you guys enough. For what you guys do for Single Cask Nation in Canada. It really means the world to us. Like we're popular here because of the hard work you guys do. It really matters to us. So I really want to thank you.
Thank you.
And I also want to thank you for your friendship.
Oh, awesome.
It means a lot. It means the world. So
Thank you.
This week has been a lot of Guinnesses, a lot of heart-to-hearts.
Some cheese.
We found out all three of us are kind of criers. We do cry.
we do cry.
Very emotional bunch.
No
Yes.
crying this week. Didn't cry this week.
Not yet.
But yeah, we appreciate you
That's
and
amazing.
Jason and Jess, and it's. I said to someone earlier, I was like, working with Single Cast Nation. There's just easy,
Oh,
and
it's
that's
just-
the best way to explain it. It's easy, and it's pretty fun too.
It's pretty fun.
and you know what? Like, we both like the same stuff.
We like the same stuff.
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings, Pantera.
I got in trouble for that one. I would like the audience to know I did not know. That's all I'm gonna say.
Editing that part out.
But it's no. I thank you so much. It's been brilliant.
Huge thanks to Travis, to Dave, and of course to Elliot as well. I know Elliot didn't make it into the conversation. He had to drive back to his family after Whiskey Wonderland, so it was just the three of us. It would have been nice to have him part of the conversation, but just, being with Travis and Dave, across those 5 days, this is my first time spending time with Dave, and I think my second time with Travis. I mean, hopefully you heard it. Hopefully the listeners heard it. I just felt like I was sitting in a room with two guys I'd known for years and years and years. It was just a conversation. It wasn't an interview. It was just three friends hanging out, drinking Sapporo Stout and Ichiro's Malt and talking about whiskey.
That sounds like a lovely way to round out your 5 days. Is also quite a role for you guys to be together too.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even mention this. Like it started in Quebec City. I flew to Quebec City to pour for Quebec Whiskey Club. And there was a group of 80 people that I poured for. Yeah, 80.
Wow. That's a small group.
Just a small
Nice.
group, nothing too big. And just a lovely, lovely, passionate whiskey group. So I started with them, and then we took the train from Quebec City down to Ottawa, and then I had our days in Ottawa before I flew home. So yeah, it was nice to explore a little bit of the old Quebec City and have some pints in an old pub, and yeah, it was just, I don't know. There's something so special about Canada. I've always loved Canada. It was the first out-of-country trip I ever took. My mom took me there when I was 6 years old, and I do remember it, even to this day of it feeling special and different. And so going back is always really nice. And being around Canadians is always really nice because they are always really nice. So, yeah, I dig it.
Are they paying you to say this? At this point, you've been extremely complimentary about Canadians. I'm worried that there's some sort of bribery happening here.
Even if they were, it wouldn't matter. I mean, their currency is not. I mean, they'd have to be paying me a lot given the exchange rate. So they're not paying me enough.
We were supposed to go to Canada just as COVID hit. Chris and I and some friends had planned a big trip. We were going to go to Kentucky and do the Bourbon Trail. Then we were going to come home through Canada, visiting some of our friends outside Toronto and doing some touristy things. And then obviously COVID happened, and we all know what happened there. And so the trip never happened. And I'm still quite sad about it all these years later that we didn't. We had some lovely friends that were gonna stop by and drink some whiskeys. We're gonna go and see some wineries, drink some ice wine.
Oh, you love ice wine. I know you love
me
ice
some
wine.
ice wine.
Yeah.
And then come home. Partly because our friend, who is massively obsessed with travel and planes, had found a route that involved a plane he hadn't yet been on. So that's sort of how we were coming home from Kentucky via Toronto. Yeah, we were not objecting to that at all. So that would have been lovely. So maybe I'll get back around to it. I do keep promising. And until then, I just have to keep meeting my Canadian friends when they come to Isla instead. Which is convenient for me, probably less convenient for them. But I feel like, yeah, Canada is on my list of places I would like to see. And obviously now I'm a certified hockey fan. I'd like to do some hockeying as well.
Yeah.
I'll learn some chirps to shout at people.
You've watched 5 seasons of Shoresy. The 6th season is coming 2027, by the way. I saw that on IMDb, so get ready.
We could have a watch party with some... Do you think they'd like to be involved in some whiskey? Is there some angle we could work here? Sudbury, Blueberry Bulldogs, and Single Cask Nation. If it's 2027, we've got a whole year to work on that.
We've got a whole year to work on that.
Okay. We'll put our heads together. We can ask the PWS guys. I think they sound like they would be great advisors for it as well.
I think so. Yeah. And any other whiskey companies, don't listen to this.
Shh, it's a secret between us and the listeners and the internet. Yeah, I'm very jealous. It sounds like you had an absolute ball with the guys. So I think they would be up for collabs. I think you've cemented something there.
Yeah. They're a great group, and I love the way that they approach the market. I mean, you heard it in the conversation. They're so close with the whiskey clubs around Canada. That really is something that I think sets Canada apart, where it's very community focused from the standpoint of clubs, very dedicated clubs all around Canada. And I think in part because everybody's, there's 35 million people in Canada, which is such a giant country, but they're all spread out. So they kind of stay close to one another because they're so spread out. And once you're in a club, you're in that club and you stay kind of tight knit. And I just think it's very cool. So
I think that sounds very like the Nordics are very like that as well. Like that the clubs are so well knitted together and form a real community. I guess because also they have a similar, people are spread out across, not quite as big as Canada. I won't give them that, but they are spread out quite far. So it's a nice way to build a community and to share your whiskey experiences too.
Yep. Listen, before we get out of here, there's something that I wanted to mention. Towards the end of the conversation, I had asked Travis, I'd opened the door for him, and I had asked him if, what do they have planned for the next 5 years? And he basically said, hey, we just want to keep on keeping on. We just want to do what we're doing. And we were so tired after, 5 to 7 hours of pouring whiskey for hundreds of people and drinking all the drinks. And you could hear our voices. We were very tired. He forgot to point out that PWS are now the importers of Aberargie Distillery, New Lowland Distillery for Canada. So that's really, really big news for them.
That is big news. And they are just starting to creep into my social media feeds a lot more as well. I think their inaugural release is later this month. So I imagine we're going to see a lot more. If you are not familiar with Aberargie, once you've finished Googling Chesney Hawks, you should look them up. They have a long family heritage. They have a surname, which if you know your whiskey history should mean something to you. They are the Morrisons. You may know their name as was once called Morrison Bowmore. It's that same family. And Aberargie is just outside Perth. So it's so funny to me when we think about whiskey regions, and you said lowland, so my brain automatically is like, well, it has to be south of Glasgow because Glengoyne is technically a Highland distillery. So due to the fault line and some very tenuous rules that were created by the SWA a long time ago. But so it's funny to me to think about them in Perth, which is, I'd say, an hour's-ish drive from me north, is technically a lowland whiskey. But I have been watching them for a while. I know them. I know a couple of the guys that work in their independent bottling arm as Carnmore. So I've met some of their products, and they have a fantastic sherried batch. I think it is just malt that they put together called Old Perth, which is delicious if you ever get a chance to try that.
Yes. Yep.
So I'm excited to see a distillery. And you were saying that they have like an interesting focus in their production.
Yeah, they're working predominantly with Golden Promise barley, which is what made Macallan famous, right? That heavy, oily. Apparently, that's what made Macallan that sort of heavy, oily style of spirit, and that's what they predominantly work with. I think it's their own barley too.
I was going to say they are a farm, so they must be planting it themselves. So an interesting one to watch. I love an opportunity to talk to farmers about making spirit. I just think it's really nice to talk to people who are deeply connected to what's being produced on the site. So we should keep an eye out for them. I wonder if they'll be doing launch events. I could go and get a little try of the liquid as the bottles are rolling out into the world. But that's a really cool score for PWS to get their hands on that.
Yeah, huge. And it's not as if they're releasing, I mean, maybe they'll be releasing only, 3-year-old whiskeys, but I think that they've been distilling for close to 7 years now. So,
nice. So a bit of age maybe on the range.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, exciting.
Exactly. I think that's very cool. So congrats to PWS on that one. And, in their portfolio, it's us. It's Two Stacks, Irish whiskey company, who happens to be our in-house, that's our in-house Irish cream, by the way. And Aberargy. So nice small little portfolio. So it's nice to have focus on us as the indie bottler, focus on Aberargy as the distillery, Scottish distillery, and then Two Stacks. It's nice to be in a small little portfolio there in Canada.
One of the things I really like about Two Stacks with their cream liqueur is it comes in a very nifty sized tin that you can put in your pocket. Or pour on your cornflakes responsibly, or put in your coffee, or just drink it as it is. The first time I came across Two Stacks was when I was working at a whiskey festival in Belfast. And I quite like their liquid, but I think they're onto an absolute cracker with the packaging. Yeah. Having that in that little handy little can. So that's really cool. Did you have much of it on cornflakes, in the morning just to pep you up? Day 3 onwards, I think it's acceptable.
I didn't have it on that, but I did have it, speaking of pep me up, Travis taught me a drink called a shaft, or in Ottawa they call it a start me up, which is 4 equal parts of cream liqueur, so a coffee liqueur, so I use Mr. Black, but you could also use like Kahlua or something like that, vodka, and cold brew over ice.
Oh, God. I'm jittering thinking about that.
I had 4 of them the day I came home. We were hit with 30 inches of snow, and I was
Is
like,
that what powered you through shoveling the snow?
Yes. Oh, it was great. It was glorious. Glorious.
And then you just collapsed on the living room under a pile of cats, and then you came back round. Oh, wow.
Exactly.
Yeah, that would get you moving, for sure, if you had heavy-duty snow shoveling to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's great.
I bet that's really tasty.
I may make one just now.
One.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's it.
In fact, let me get us out of here so I can go make a shaft right now. So let me give everybody our email address. I need to make one now. Let me give everyone our email address, all of that stuff. I need to say this really quickly. I'm not going to share them just now, but we're going to do it next episode. In our mailbag episode, we asked people to send in their 10 commandments of whiskey. Or commandment of whiskey. People started sending in commandments of whiskey.
Nice. Well done, people. That's good. Thank you for completing your homework.
Yeah. So that's the giving people of our email address reminded me of that. So if you have some, send in some more because we're going to start sharing that list. So info@singlecastnation.com. Obviously, this is not a video episode, but we do have video episodes. And if you like that sort of thing, you can go to YouTube and subscribe to our channel. And you can like us on Apple Podcasts. You can like us on Spotify. What else can listeners do, Jess? Anything that you could think of?
Well, they can check us wherever they find their podcasting requirements. You can find us on the old socials. We have a lovely Facebook group who sometimes dish out lessons for Joshua. You just have to answer some very simple questions, and if you answer them correctly, we'll let you in. So that's on Facebook, if you do a Facebook thing. We have an Instagram, and last episode we were encouraging people to write to you using our PO box. I'd love it if someone actually did send you something to the PO box. That would make me so happy.
Oh, yeah. It's that day of the week where I have to go check it, so I'll let you know.
Okay. All right. I think that's most of the places you can find us.
Yeah.
Reach out to us on one of those options that we just gave you. And if not, we'll see you next time.
Same bat time, same bat channel. That's a Batman reference, Jess.
I was hoping so. Otherwise, that'd be really weird if you were making a bat reference that was about the creatures. Are they habitual? Do they come to the same place at the same time? I guess they do.
Yeah, they do.
I
actually think they do. They're habitual creatures.
In their bat tower, which is probably the inspiration for Batman. God, it's all unraveling now.
All right, that's our cue. We got to get
go
out
make
of here.
yourself a strong drink. That sounds like a
Very
good
strong
idea.
drink. All right. Cheers, listeners. Cheers, Jess.
Cheers, listeners. Cheers to you.
And cheers to Travis and Dave and Elliot.
You're not drinking this, I can tell.
I'm just enjoying it slowly, but you can have it if you want.
Are you still sipping it? Because it looks like...
Now that you touched it, I'm
Take
like,
Dave's beer?
Well, he's not. I can tell he's already... there's no way you're drinking it.
Did you not like it?
no, I don't mind it. I was actually just enjoying it.
You weren't
So-
enjoying it. It's how much you've had since before pizza.
Travis, it's not. It's. I don't want to make it weird, but you just stole my beer in front of me. That's straight up.
I went down and got that for you, and you're not enjoying it.
Fly to the other side of Canada.
The way I
Theft.
was, you too.
Wow.
Theft amongst friends.
Wow.
Is that really theft?
It's gotten spicy and we haven't even started.
Yeah, this is B-roll material right here.
This is B-roll.
The Travis and I have this interesting relationship where he just takes my things, and that's okay, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just want to see them appreciate it.
Who's the big brother? Who's the little brother?
Oh, I'm definitely big brother.
100%.
But when we first met, it was we called him our son. He was me and Lisa's son. Lisa and my son.
Now, and in my defense, I was pretty lost. I was new to town, didn't know anybody. And Lisa was my age, so calling her mom was weird, but Travis made sense. He's so much older than me.
So much.
So much older. Yeah. I have a brother that's older than me, and I'm like big brother to him too. So it's like it's something in my DNA. I just feel like I need to be bossy or something.
You know how Kublai Khan likes to just pull people to himself and just fill his court? Travis just fills his court with sons.
Kublai Khan what?
Kublai Khan.
Yeah.
Something like that. I prefer Obi-Wan.
There you go. That works too.